Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
I'm seeing from a number of chart analysts out there today that there seems to be this expectation that we're going to see the next push up for crypto markets, and certainly XRP, which is provably moving in tandem with the rest of the market, and really has been outperforming other top 10 cryptocurrencies by market cap for really just about the entirety of this month. In particular, at one point, if you look at the low this month for XRP, which I believe was on February 3rd till just several days later, at one point it was up over 50%, 50%, in a span of like several days or so. Things happen fast in crypto. So I want to share with you perspective from a couple analysts as far as what to expect, what's most probable in those regards, and also a friendly reminder that what we're experiencing right now, and it'll happen over a span of a number of years, it's the biggest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind. And it's not too much to say that. That's not hyperbole. That's what's happening right now. And there's this article from the Daily Huddle, which I think pretty well brings the point home. It's titled, Fundstrat's Tom Lee says $100 trillion investor class could send Bitcoin to $200,000. Now, I'm less interested in what he has to say about Bitcoin hitting $200,000, but in terms of the multiplier effect, because of money going from a certain set of individuals to a new set of individuals who are in crypto, that's the interesting part, because it's such early days here that if we're right, and I think it's pretty obvious that we are, just in terms of the long-term viability of crypto as an asset class, if we're right, anybody participating now that puts in a reasonable amount of money and holds for a sufficient amount of time, like, there is that opportunity for life-changing wealth even for the everyday person. I still don't think most people are going to achieve life-changing wealth for a number of reasons, including emotions. I think people are their own worst enemies when it comes to investing in stocks and crypto, certainly crypto, which is way more volatile than stocks. But it doesn't mean there's not opportunity. And so you can arm yourselves with knowledge and understanding, learn to control your emotions, like the opportunity's there, which I think is very empowering. But there's a reason, there are a number of reasons, one that I want to highlight in particular, which is money going from one set of people to a different set of people. And I'll tell you exactly who I'm talking about and why, but the transfer's coming. Whether you and I individually participate, it's coming. I want to be clear also, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I'm not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this, XRP's at 84 cents, Bitcoin 44,139, market cap for the asset class back up over 2 trillion, and Bitcoin dominance at 41.28%. And the crypto fear and greed index, you love to see this. Look, it's at 52 out of 100, indicating that your typical retail speculator is feeling neutral about the markets, no longer fearful. Because look, I don't take pleasure in these poor little lemmings feeling fearful out there. Jumping off a cliff, one after the next, to their own demise. I don't take pleasure in that, but I know that's what happens. After, and I'll tell you, you wait until this bubble fully inflates. Talk about lemmings following each other one after another off the cliff to their own demise. It's going to be a stampede of lemmings off the cliff once this bubble inflates and then pops. It's going to be bad. And I don't take pleasure in that. I just recognize that it's going to happen. This is how people behave in markets. But it's good to see that today they are not fearful at 52 out of 100. Here's a tweet from chart analyst Credible Crypto, who wrote, strong moves up, and he's talking about Bitcoin, strong moves up, shallow pullbacks, continuation. As long as $42,000 holds in lower time frame, wave structure indicates we are likely starting the next push up. And here's the chart that Credible Crypto shared on that point. And he's not the only one that thinks that what is most probable at this point is a shift to the upside. Take a look at this headline from the Daily Huddle. Bitcoin now ready to surge, according to crypto analyst Nicholas Merton. Here are his targets. A popular crypto analyst is laying out a roadmap for where Bitcoin is headed in the coming months as well as the rest of 2022. In a new strategy session, Nicholas Merton tells his 510,000 YouTube subscribers that despite Bitcoin's dramatic fall from a November all-time high above $69,000 to under $34,000 on January 24th, it has actually held up better than expected by not dipping below the $30,000 mark. And here's a quote. to see since back here in January, since the discount revisited this range, that we aren't getting any close retests down to $30,000 or $25,000, as a lot of people were kind of taking a perspective on. We're seeing instead that buyers are coming in at higher premiums, and they're buying up the dips quite quickly. End quote. And so I've been talking about that concept in part for some time. It's interesting to see this is happening right now, which is why there's this supposition that sooner than later we're going to see a more notable move to the upside. But it's also true that whale accounts and accounts that are historically long-term holders, they're not abandoning ship here. You know, like as you might expect, if Bitcoin is actually in a bear market, the on-chain metrics look a little bit peculiar. So I don't know for sure. Hey, maybe the blockchain backer, my fellow XRP YouTuber, maybe the blockchain backer is correct. I'm not saying he is or isn't. I'm just saying it's interesting to see how humans are behaving, and it does provide some sort of question in my mind as to what's actually going to happen, given that the on-chain metrics and how the whales are behaving. It doesn't look like they're capitulating. It looks like they're just buying like crazy, which is not what you saw immediately after the Bitcoin bubble pop, especially in early 2018. And yes, crashing structures, I understand they can take some time, but even so, it just looks different. That's what I'm observing. I'm just observing the on-chain metrics look different than what we saw 4 years ago. Piece continues. The Data-host believes Bitcoin's ability to hold the line and then recapture $40,000 could mean the leading crypto will surge back toward its previous all-time high within the next 2 months. So there's the time frame we're looking at. And here's another quote from him. What I think is really incredible about all of this is that we've not only got the setup to really start chartering higher here, it might mean that over the next coming weeks, we could rally back into the territory of where we're revisiting back towards this previous resistance range of $65,000, the previous all-time highs. I would bet that this is something we're probably going to see in April. So that's the end of the quote. So I hope that that's accurate. I would not mind seeing that one bit. And he does go, I don't want to read the whole article, I just want to get kind of the key ideas across here. He does believe that this will be the year where Bitcoin finally at some point does reach over $100,000. And he thinks it could be a lot higher. That he even says perhaps by the end of this year, even $200,000. So we're going to find out sooner or later who's right. Is Bitcoin in a bear market or is it not? And either way, like I've said many times, as an XRP holder, I'm thrilled either way. Because even if Bitcoin's in a bear market, if history repeats, we're still going to see a euphoric blow off top for XRP and altcoins, but the vast majority of altcoins on the planet have not had parabolic runs. You know, you could name a number that have. Arguably, Cardano's done incredible, Solana, Doge. Like, there are a number that have done quite well. But, and actually Link, it rallied during the bear market mostly, which is really an outlier case, and it's been, I think, down a bit since then. It's just fascinating. So it's not that you don't see those types of activities at all. What I'm saying is it hasn't happened for the vast majority of coins, not just XRP. It's just the case that everyone holding any coin in crypto, with rare exception, has to be super patient at this point in order to achieve the gains that we're all hoping and dreaming of effectively, right? Everyone, it's not unique to XRP. XRP's moving with the rest of the market. Nothing about this is weird or bad or scary. Now take a look at this tweet from Will Clemente, who is an on-chain analyst, and he shared this with his 584,500 followers on Twitter. Dear big names writing off Bitcoin. This is happening with or without you. Keep ignoring it. After all, the wealth isn't going to transfer itself, which I thought was pretty good, because whether you're most interested in Bitcoin or you're like me and you're most interested in XRP, whatever it is, you understand it's not one coin specific. It's about the money flowing in and transferring in from other parts of legacy finance, I suppose you could call it, and all sorts of individuals and businesses. And so to illustrate that point and who it's going to come from, I'm going to delve into this article from the Daily Hodl that I referenced at the outset of the video. Fundstrat's Tom Lee says $100 trillion investor class could send Bitcoin to $200,000. The managing partner of investment research firm Fundstrat Global Advisors, Tom Lee, is singling out a category of investors whose involvement could send Bitcoin to a six-figure price. Lee says in a CNBC interview that baby boomers are not investing in Bitcoin, but their involvement may trigger a rally that would increase the flagship crypto asset's price to over $200,000. So let me just pause to note. I do understand, of course, that, and this is just data, it's more likely that younger individuals are likely to hop on board the Bitcoin and crypto train. That's just That's just the data. But it doesn't mean that there aren't any baby boomers out there. I'm sure there are all sorts of baby boomers listening to this video right now who are in crypto. And so it doesn't matter what age group you're in. You're on the cutting edge regardless, so welcome to the party either way. But if you're talking about that class of people, specifically baby boomers jumping in, resulting in this going, well, not to be grim or anything, I don't think there's something that's going to massively trigger a change there, but it's really more so about ultimately as time passes, and over the span of decades, frankly, just inheritance. Like, frankly, the reality of it is, like, that's what the transfers are really going to look like, in my humble opinion, over time. And I am talking a span of decades right now. Money's going to shift hands to those people who are younger, who are growing up with cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and XRP, of course, also. And even if just a percentage of that flows into cryptocurrencies, my gosh, the multiplier effect is going to be absolutely insane. You understand how a little bit of money can have a tremendous impact in terms of a cryptocurrency getting bid up in terms of price. It doesn't take that much money to get these crazy multiplier effects. But here's a quote from Mr. Lee. If I had to say what's the simplest way for a big step function to happen in crypto, it's really getting existing generations of investors in the US, not new investors, to actually be willing to allocate to Bitcoin. And 76% of all the wealth in America is controlled by over age 65. Whew. Folks, did you hear that? That's a stat. 76% of all the wealth in America is controlled by people over age 65. So that's nearly $100 trillion held by people that think Bitcoin is still kind of a hobby, or things that people who live in the basement play with. I think regulation could actually unlock a lot of that movement. Just imagine 2% out of the $100 trillion allocated to crypto. You could see a 5 to 10, 15 times increase in total network value, end quote. And so look, yes, and I do see as time passes, people of every age group are increasingly getting exposure to crypto. The only thing that I'm saying is that the data shows that the younger generations, they seem to be adopting it at a faster rate. But yeah, that's a fair enough point, fine. Even if just a small percentage of that money gets out, and it's just because the baby boomers are actually putting in, okay, fine. I still think that most of the transfer of wealth is going to occur over a span of decades as the younger people inherit money. Just to be perfectly honest with you, I think that makes more sense because the younger people are already sold. To what degree are going to change the people in the older age groups? Some. I'm sure, and again, I'm sure some are listening right now. And again, kudos to anybody, regardless of age, listening. Like, you're on the cutting edge of this financial revolution. You absolutely are. You are on the cutting edge. You are here early, because this is nowhere near a mature asset class. But that's great. See, that's exciting. Being in this before it's obvious and everybody agrees, yes, of course that worked. Of course it worked. Once they have the benefit of hindsight. That's when there's no longer such tremendous opportunity to accumulate life-changing wealth. Being there before it's so obvious. That's when the opportunity exists. Like right now, when there's no shortage of naysayers about XRP having long-term viability, no shortage. You're going against the grain investing in XRP or Bitcoin or pick your cryptocurrency. And that's fine by me. That's part of what I find very enticing. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to invest my real money investing the way that I have. So it'll be what it'll be, but look, it's going to happen. This asset class clearly is not going away. Just look at there's a reason all these huge names that were a little bit squeamish about, if you go back like 5, 6, 7 years ago, they're jumping in now. And all sorts of major firms jumping in, investing in Bitcoin to start. They'll invest in other coins too, have other coins on the balance sheet. But just look at what's happened with PayPal, or whether it's Tesla or Square, which is, what they need to rename themselves, Block? I think that's correct. Just pick your company. It's amazing the amount of adoption here. And these firms are not doing this on a whim. They're doing it because they really understand that this is long-term viable. It's not clear which cryptocurrencies will be here if you fast forward a few decades. We're going to have to keep monitoring that. But the asset class will be here. There's so much opportunity. And with XRP being so incredibly undervalued, a market cap of only $40 billion at the time I'm recording this, it takes almost no money flowing in to get an incredible multiplier effect. We just have to be patient. That's how I view it.
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.